Hello, 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 hello. It is disgustingly warm in my room. It is not cold. Spring is not here yet. Even though I would be lying if I said I didn't appreciate the warmer temperatures because I've been able to go outside for breaks and lunch. Back to the tree, the picnic table under the tree. Um, and was it Friday or Thursday? Mm, it was a little colder Friday, so it might have been Thursday. The tree, I think it wasn't even a tree. I couldn't tell if it was a tree or a light pole that was out there, but it was creaking like old wood, like creak when it moves, and it wasn't even that windy. It wasn't windy enough for the tree to be creaking as loud as it was. But I don't know what I'm doing today. I don't know anything in life right now. Today, I looked at my phone and I was like, is Saturn at 20 degrees yet? Because I know the third degree of Saturn paration for me was the high priestess. And it's feeling like some real high priestess times. And I'm just like, what do I do? And it sucks. It's all right. Ariel, hello. How are you doing? It's a weird day. I slept. I went to bed at like maybe 6 p.m. yesterday. Woke up at 3 a.m. this morning for a few hours and then I went back to sleep. So it's been a very sleepy weekend for me. Eve, hello. I saw you live earlier. I think I came in on the end of it though, because I went to bed and then I woke up and then I went back to sleep. And then when I woke up, I think you were like ending it or something. And I might have taken a nap too. So I've just been sleepy. But I decided to use a deck that I barely understand, which is the Mystical Medleys with the sun at the bottom. That's cute. With some other stuff just for funsies, because I don't know what's happening. I feel like globally they hey Holly, how you doing? Globally interesting, I guess. Like last night was a thread of things that I'm just like conflicted about. I feel like conflicted is a good word. I feel like conflicted is a great word to describe how I was feeling because it's like on one hand, uh, like when tragedy highlights and illuminates other tragedies in a way that it's just like it's a good illustration, but like, was it necessary? And then it's like, well, is anything necessary? Isn't everything necessary? And I'm just like, I don't know. So it was definitely weird. Snow already melting. Whoop, whoop. You feel amazing today, but you're also in sacred rage paradigm bursting state. So you're all over the place. Well, I'm glad you're feeling amazing. And I hope your sacred rage is manageable. And if not, then I wish you whatever is for you to gain at this time. While also. So I stopped shuffling the deck. And guess what's at the bottom? Guess I'm using the Wild Unknown Pocket Tarot. Guess what's at the bottom of this deck? It's the sun. Again. So that's interesting. That's cool. What's at the top of the deck? The world. The world is at the top of the deck and the sun is at the bottom with the Ace of Swords behind the sun. What's at the top of the other deck? The top of this deck is the King of Pentacles. And under the sun over here is the Four of Cups. I don't know. Life is doing what life does. So, that was a decent shuffle. Your trees told me that they're growing leaves soon. The tree at work was just creaking at me, just creaking. I'm like, why are you so loud? It's not that windy. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Excuse me. Less of a carval, more of the loss of a dream, deep desire you had, and then the confusion as to why you have such a strong attachment with no fulfillment. It's a whole thing. That sounds like a whole thing and a half. That sounds like, I don't want to say the opposite of what Jupiter and Pisces sounded like it was supposed to be, but maybe it's a part of it. Well, because I guess the sun, with Jupiter, Neptune, and the sun in Pisces, I feel like a lot of people, I feel like it would, with Jupiter and the sun being in Pisces, I feel like it would read as great because of the way people feel and talk about Jupiter. But with the sun being in Pisces, it can also be a major energy of disillusionment. Or it could be an energy of like seeing. I think it could go either way. Seeing that a dream is actually achievable or seeing that it isn't. So, what? Your Jupiter is in Pisces and Vedic? That's interesting. So, you'll be having a Jupiter return. Excuse me. What cards flipped over? The Queen of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, and the Eight of Swords. I don't understand this deck. The Hierophant at the bottom of the deck with the Fool behind the Hierophant and the King of Cups behind the Fool. The Queen of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, and the Eight of Swords. And then the other card that came out was the Three of Cups. I don't have the Santa Muerte. I know Reem has it. I think the Queen of Cups is in there. Excuse me. Your Jupiter is in Pisces? What? Look at all y'all Jupiter and Pisces people. So you're having a Jupiter return. Or you've had one. I think they're going to be conjuncting in about a month and a week, probably, because today's the 6th. Jupiter and Neptune should be conjuncting in about a month. Saturn is only at 19 degrees. I was like, Saturn has to be at 20 degrees. Because when I got to the 3rd degree of my Saturn return, the High Priestess came out. And I was like, I don't know anything. The moon is in Taurus right now. What? I'm having a lunar return. Let's go. Maybe the moon is on my ascendant right now. And then it's going to conjunct my moon. All right. Yeah, it's going to conjunct my moon. That could be why I'm feeling whatever. I don't know. So let me put these back. I don't know what I'm doing with these. I don't know what I'm doing in life, you know? It's like you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Right? Everyone's getting a Jupiter return, but me. My Jupiter is all the way in Libra. I'm not going to have a Jupiter return for a minute, but I'm having a Saturn return, so that's fun. The planets are exhausting. Oh, see, look, first the Queen of Cups came out. Now the King of Cups is coming out. With the Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck, though. And the Ace of Swords behind the Queen of Wands. And the Ten of Swords behind the Ace of Swords. Okay. I was trying to shuffle this. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I've already said that. I'm gonna have to watch and see what the trees had to say for Pisces. What? Your hub's also pet has a Jupiter in Libra too? What? What's the King of Cups looking for? I already put him away. He's already back in the deck. Well, let's pull him out. Actually, I'm going to look in the Wild Unknown because it'll be easier to understand. I'm assuming it'll be easier to understand. Where's around the King of Cups? Ooh. This is interesting. What's on this? Okay. So I ended up pulling 2 cards before. Nope, I pulled 3 cards before. And I guess I'll pull 3 cards after. So the King of Cups is looking at Death, but Death is looking at the King of Cups. And on the other side of Death is the Four of Wands and the Seven of Cups. So that's what the King of Cups is looking at here. And behind the King of Cups is the Five of Wands, the Magician, and the Hermit. I took the Magician because the Magician was looking in the same way as the King of Cups is, but there's like the Five of Wands that we have to get through. It feels almost like unfinished business. Because the Five of Wands is at the back of the King of Cups, and Death, the King is looking towards Death, but Death is like almost turning this energy back to the Five. It's almost like kind of sort of unfinished businessy, but also kind of sort of like you have to go back to move forward. Gemini and Pisces blew you away. I'm gonna have to look at it. What's the opposite of Wheel of Fortune? Jeopardy. I don't know if it's confused about what's ending. So, because what came out? It was the Queen of Cups, or was that with the? It wasn't confusion. It was more like or not a hesitation. I'm not sure. Woke up in the middle of the night and said, "It's the Wheel of Fortune." Last night and then back to sleep. Maybe that Scorpio reading that Cindy posted has something for you. Ariel. I think there was an angel that came out, the Angel of Strength. Angel of Strength. And then there were some other things. I don't want to spoil it. So if you want to watch it, go ahead. Okay. So the Diceology card that came out, it's the beginnings of self-realization, caring for one's mental space, and preparing to welcome something big. Jack of Spades, with the Three of Spades, a complete restructuring of home, a breathtaking sight that redefines beauty and allowing one's soul to breathe at the bottom of the deck. Oh, so the thing yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I'm pretty sure, when I was talking about when I drank the Ulrum, and I forgot why I started talking about it, because in the land of Chazakiel, the land of the mists, it feels like there are almost wandering shadows that are the potentials of us, our potentials, the different names, the different titles that we could grow into, and them waiting on our light, like the we're waiting on your light. That's why that came to mind. It's something to do with, I don't know if it's necessarily completely fulfilling, but it does feel like there's a magnetic quality to it. Like there are things that are unlocked but started at different initiatory points, and once you hit the point, then it sort of like turns that on and it brings it closer to you as we fulfill or realize more and more of that potential. And it feels like it can be the case in many ways, right? Good and bad or indifferent. Um, it's just what we become eventually. We find ourselves there. He's going through a rapid wake up right now. I think I remember you saying that before, that he was like going through a rapid ascension. And he was like, how do you do this? Seven of Clubs, a purifying light, a renewed mind, and a moment of timelessness, with chain links to divine codex and an arrow that pierces the heavens and breaks the clouds at the bottom of the deck. What am I doing? I don't know. I don't know. But let's clarify this. Seven of Clubs. Oh, I'm gonna look before and after the Seven of Wands in this deck, and then before and after the Ace of Pentacles in the other deck. That's how I'm gonna do this. Look at the bottom of the deck. The Ace of Swords, the Sun, and the Seven of Cups. 19 is the animal, I think, in the Wild Unknown archetypes, because I just got it the other day. And it was the animal and the vow. And there was something that the animal was waiting for that it almost lost itself to. It's like over time, how we can kind of sort of forget the specifics of some things, but we still sit in the anticipation of them, or we sit with the knowing of them. It's like if you ever been mad with somebody and then enough time passes that you don't remember why you were upset with someone, but you remember that you were upset. So you stay upset even though you don't remember why. And it's like, well, if you don't remember, was it really that big of a deal? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Excuse me. Seven of Wands. Let's see. There's a three. Seven of Swords. I don't know what I'm doing. This is probably, if you're still early in this is probably one of those that you can skip. So, because I don't know where I'm going. I feel lost. I feel lost, but not lost. Like, it's just annoying. I feel annoyed at life. Wow. Oof, come through synchronicities. So I'm watching this show. I found it the day before yesterday or the day before that. and I binged it. It was only 23 like 20-minute episodes, so but it's a show, it's an anime about it's an isekai anime. So if you know anything about anime, it's like some person who lives in a very mundane world, very much like our own, gets transported through some way of circumstance to another world, and that world typically has like magic and elves, and it's like high fantasy, basically. And they get teleported to that world with everything that they know of high fantasy from this world. So, you know. But the last one, I guess, was interesting because there was a character who was depressed AF, who died with a lot of regrets. He died. He got hit by a truck trying to save some like high schoolers or something from getting hit by the truck, and he ended up in another world. And in this other world, he like gets a chance to do life over again. And there are things that it's like he's still traumatized by in his previous life, like going outside. But in this new life, he sort of discovers that there's no reason for him to be as afraid as he was because his new life and new circumstances are different than the old ones. And then throughout the course of the show, we kind of sort of find out more and more. In the beginning, it's like everyone hated me, everyone laughed at me. But by the end of the first season, it's like, you know, there were a lot of people around me who were reaching out to me. I had a friend who, in his own way, he didn't know how to, but in his own way, he tried to like encourage me and lift me up. But you know, I blew up on him, and I said I would apologize if he ever came back, and he never came back. Now I could have went after him, but I wasn't strong enough to. And it was a whole bunch of like I wasn't strong enough to reach out to the people who were reaching out to me. I wasn't strong enough to step outside of my comfort zone. I wasn't strong enough to live life after whatever I had previously experienced in it. Um, and why am I talking about this? That train of thought is gone. I don't remember what came out or why I started talking about that. Um, oh, because I was talking about me. um, and it's been a theme this year, pretty much all year, that I'm not who I used to be. Life isn't what it used to be. And like there are things that I can do now that I never would have done before. And so that's why I feel like I'm like mildly annoyed by what it's not by like by potentials, I guess. And I feel like I've reached the point that I can't do what I used to do and not feel some type of way, if that makes any sense. But also at the same time, I don't like feeling rushed. And I feel like it isn't a rush, but I feel like it also is. So that's why I'm mildly annoyed. Yeah, that's why I was talking about that. Already doing things I never would have done before. Mm, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So that's where, excuse me, not some of, well, yeah, most of my annoyance, maybe. Um, Still looking for the Seven of Wands. That's why I'm like, am I in a high priestess spot right now? What? Pregnancy brain on fire. What's going on with it? Did you ever find out? Was that since the last time I've seen you? You were gonna like find out, right? If it's a boy or a girl, or is that next week? I don't remember. Can't ignore potential, but don't want to feel rushed. And it's like, I feel like it wouldn't be, but it would be. You know what I mean? Oh, well, I'll pull these two as well. I want to get, and I'll pull these. Oof. Okay, and we'll stop there. Excuse me. Oh, thanks, Holly. Fourth girl, hence your crisis. Oh, sorry. Yeah, because you did just say that y'all were hoping for a boy, or that Pat was hoping for a boy, and then you were hoping for a boy, but Pat said, nope, giving you another girl. Okay. So I want to do this like this. One second while I lay these out. So the cards before the Seven of Wands, it was the Seven of Cups again, which is why I went this far out. The Ten of Wands and the Knight of Swords. These are the cards before because I pulled from the bottom. So I'll put them this way. I'll just put them this way. And then the cards after, it's the Nine of Pentacles, the King of Cups. And I was like, oh, snap, that's what he's. And he said, what's the King of Cups looking at? He popped back up. And then Justice behind the King of Cups. So I was like, ooh, Justice, the King of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles. Okay. And then the Seven of Wands is here. Now I'm going to pull under the Ace of Diamonds, chain links a divine codex, an arrow that pierces the heavens and breaks the clouds, is the Eight of Spades, rearrangement and coagulation, seeing the truth of the self, and distorted creations abound. So, apparently you're bringing in a divine feminine tribe. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, gosh. Ariel. Oof. You never imagined you would even have children, and it just keeps happening. Well, I don't know if people can spontaneously generate children out of nothing, but I get what you mean. Excuse me. I'm gonna give this a few shuffles. The lunar eclipses hypnotize you. Yeah, that makes sense though. To grieve a dream or a desire, that makes a lot of sense. While also loving, of course, the daughter that is to come. So yeah, I can see that being a fairly difficult, place to be in. All right, I'm gonna give it 3, 2, 3. Now let's go looking for the Ace of Pentacles. Ooh, this is interesting. The bottom of the deck is Justice. Justice, the Four of Pentacles in the world. With the Father of Swords after that. Justice, the Four of Pentacles in the world. I feel like that's such a heavy energy of like withholding things that the world just isn't ready for. I'm looking for the Ace of Pennies. Excuse me. Come on, Ace of Pennies. Both of these cards were like at the bottom ish of the deck, like well into the deck. Oh, there it is. Okay. So before is the Two of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ten of Cups. Okay. Oops. There we go. Put them down this way. Put this right here like this. Oh, who was talking about the Wheel of Fortune? Holly and Ariel. The Wheel of Fortune was the card before the Two of Wands. And the Eight of Wands is before that Wheel of Fortune, under the Five of Cups. So there isn't, and then there's the Mother of Cups, the Queen of Cups that keeps making an appearance. So there almost is an energy. It almost, I feel like it almost reads like grief. Not grief. It's like pessimism when oof, I feel like that kind of literally just goes to what I was talking about. But that's kind of sort of the vibe too, especially with the King of Cups, the Queen of Wands, and whatever else came out. Um, it's like if we were of the mind to see it, there are things that we would notice that would, it feels like fairly quickly, relatively quickly, get us to where we want to be, or that would relatively quickly begin to change certain circumstances and situations. But it's almost like since we want to be stuck, we stay stuck. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be like a want to be stuck energy. It could just be like a hesitation around really moving things forward. Because it's like if you're hesitant enough, then you won't do the things that, know that we won't do the things that we know will get us where we really want to go if that hesitation is healthy enough. It's like I know that literally all I have to do is this one thing, but I don't want to do it. I'm so tired, or I'm so busy, or whatever. And it's like tired and busy are kind of sort of excuses because they kind of sort of mask and cover up some kind of raw vulnerability under it. And it could be triggering things of like self worth or whatever. We don't have to be specific about why we don't do the things, right? Um, but I do the thing about like the Eight of Wands. No, what was it? Yeah, the Eight of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, and then the Two of Wands leading right to the Ten of Cups. It is like very fast tracky energy. And see, that's interesting because on this side of the Seven of Wands, again, is the Knight of Swords, which is like one of the fastest knights. Like this horse is so fast, hooves ain't even touching the ground. It can fly. That's how fast that horse is. That horse is so fast it can fly. You have two earth dominant and we'll have two fire dominant girls. Oh, snap. Your name means Lion of God. Oh, snap. Wait, what? wait, what? Ah, it is hilarious. See, because there is like this really, really fast, accelerated Knight of Swords energy, but right behind it, it's coming after a Seven of Cups and a Ten of Wands. This Seven of Cups and Ten of Wands really feeling like it's taking on the energy. Is that the Mother of Swords? It is. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Okay, hold up. Oof. And then there's our Ten of Swords. Yup. And the Hangman. The Hangman is here as well, but I've already went enough cards back. Um, this energy feels similar. This is almost like a burden of choice. The Seven of Cups and the Ten of Wands, it's like there are certain things that are easier to choose, and there are things that are more difficult to choose. The more difficult things to choose at this time, place, and moment seem to be like the things that will bring us some kind of security and stability, both like physically, mentally, emotionally, and the resulting balance. It's like when we're physically and emotionally secure, that lays the foundation for things that would be harder to build in a space of lack or insecurity. But it's almost feeling more so like when we're used to a certain lifestyle than anything else. It's like an attachment to limitation almost, or an attachment to, like, I remember when I was in my 24th, I think, or 25th year of life, before I had my darkest night. I was talking to a friend at the time, a mentor in a way, in a lot of ways. And I was like, I don't want to be depressed, but it's such a familiar feeling. Like it sucks, but it's something that I know and something that I've known for so long. And I would almost feel bad for my depression if I weren't depressed anymore. Like, does that make sense? I was like, I know, like, it sounds whatever, but like, I would feel bad for my depression if I wasn't depressed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's been with me this whole time. I can't just like be like, bye, see ya. But it was the familiarity with it and the comfortability in that familiarity, even though it's not what I desired, and even though it sucked. And it kind of sort of feels the same, especially here. And that's this Five of Cups. And behind the Five of Cups, I saw the Queen of Swords, and I was like, what? So the lover sits in between the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords. And then behind that is the Eight of Cups. And behind that is the Ten of Swords. And it's interesting that it's like to move forward in like what came out from the deck that I'm using to clarify the top. I have to move backwards in the deck that I'm using to clarify what was at the bottom of the deck. See, but again, like this is that space where the head and the heart are on the same page. So a decision satisfies them both. It's no longer head over heart or heart over head. They're on the same page. They're in the same boat. They're moving in the same direction. They want and desire the same things. Now, the way that you go about accomplishing them, oh snap, the magician is behind the hangman, and then the Three of Pentacles is behind that. Okay, that's I don't gotta keep going back. Um, but again, it feels like, and it's interesting because I feel like Ace was coming out with the sense of like those who would choose to remain angry, or those who are so attached to their anger, so attached to their rage, so attached to their fury that they will not allow themselves any kind of sustainable happiness. And it feels like this is an energy that won't attach from its sadness, that won't detach from its sadness, from its grief, to allow itself to be happy or fulfilled. And it feels like that's what this sort of like Eight of Cups and the Ten of Wands symbolizes. And so it's almost like it's an energy that can't allow itself to be hopeful anymore because it's like, you know what happens when you have hope. This is heavy. But again, it's like with the Five of Cups into the Eight of Wands into the Wheel of Fortune, as soon as like the perspective changes, as soon as the horse looks up, it's like things can really begin. So it might be the case of like opportunities that we already have that we sort of like sit on or let pass by. A purifying light, a renewed mind, a moment of timelessness. That renewed mind energy is like, I just got the card light that carves its way through liquid light that carves its way through night. And this purifying light is making me think of that. See, and then also with the ghost on the Seven of Cups, it feels like being haunted by like previous choices, decisions, or the way that things played out in the past. But with the Knight of Swords and the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck, like it feels like there is a knowing and understanding of how things have shifted and changed. And with the energy of chain links on this Ace of Pentacles, it feels like there was probably a series of events or a series of realizations and revelations and actualizations that had to occur to put us in a position where we decide to take the sword to sunder whatever we're attached to. It's reminding me of the attachment card and the energy oracle cards. Because this Knight of Swords could like cut the chains. And then on the other side of this Seven of Wands energy, again, it's the Nine of Pentacles, the King of Cups, and Justice. And the interesting thing about this, because the Four of Cups came out earlier, that might have been before this, I don't know. But it feels like what couldn't have, let me see, is it at the bottom? No, that's the three. Okay. Oh, it's right here between the High Priestess and the Three of Wands. Yep, exactly. See, in this Four of Cups energy, there's something offered that can't be received. But with the King of Cups, it's like this king sits ready to now not only to anticipate those things, but it seeks and like, my cup is here. I'm ready to get it filled. Where did that cloud go? And now the cloud's all beat up. Oof. Sorry, that's not funny. I should have just pulled the card when I just found it. Oh, look what's on the other side of the High Priestess, though. It's the devil. The devil, the High Priestess, and then that Four of Cups. Um, I wonder if this could also stand in the place of a person in the lives of some of us, right? Like that could have been a person or type of connection that we weren't in a space to accept at one point because of, everything that we had already gone through with the Seven of Cups, the ghosts, especially in that Seven of Cups. And again, with the Ten of Wands, all of the burdens that it brought. Um, Interestingly enough, though, it doesn't seem like the creature in this Ten of Wands is really struggling. It has four hands, whereas all the other Ten of Wands only have two, right? It doesn't really seem like they're struggling too much. But like now, it's, that king is like the cloud is. It's a little beat up, but it's still happy. Oh, look at the tree done got cut down, and but with this, it feels like in some weird way, the very thing that we would have used to cut these opportunities short, in the weird way, it's like those very things will serve to move us forward now, but it feels like it reads like in a human way. It's just like when we understand our habits and patterns and why we self-sabotage in the way that we did in the past, when we understand how and why we self-sabotaged in the past, that knowing and understanding what motivated it. And that I said that before at some point in this. My memory is right now. But it's like understanding the underlying things. And when you understand the underlying things, and then it's like, yeah, understanding them is only a part of it. Because I think we still have to move forward. Like we still have to be brave and make those choices and decisions, even understanding why we make the choices that we make. I remember being in a position when I remember it was well before my darkest night, but I was like, I wish that like knowing why I did something was enough to get me to stop making those choices or decisions. I wish that it was like once you have an understanding, things automatically happen. Because doing stuff is hard. And the clouds also got some armor on. It's earned a crown too, I guess. Cloud ain't got no armor on here. Just like, hey, buddy. Now it's like, ooh. But it does reach that resolution, right? And again, the sun is under this ace of swords. And that makes it feel like there are these little golden drops that we can follow as the king fills his cup that will lead to like the full sun. What'd you say? Which card is the liquid light that carves through night? Yeah, I did. I actually did watch the Scorpio one. Excuse me. I was watching the Scorpio video, and then at one point she said Pisces. she, she was like, "Weird." I just said Pisces. I don't know why I just said Pisces. Maybe it's like 12th house energy, or you're connected to a Pisces Scorpio. And I was like, "Oof, I'm the Pisces." That was funny. It did bring me. It brought me a little laugh. Um, let's see, which one is it? I think it's the last entry on the card. Is it an ace? It might not be. Where is it? Hold up. I might not have this. Oh, it's literally right here. It's like the fourth card from the bottom. It's the nine of diamonds. That is so interesting. Yeah. And they sound fairly close. So hopefully everything is okay. I think those might be like ambulance sirens. But there's also a hospital like down the street. So that's why sometimes if like a helicopter flies overhead, it's a helicopter that'll like pick up from the nearby hospital and it'll take them to the one in the town that's like 20 minutes away. So, what's really interesting about this, I said that the purifying light and renewed mind reminded me of the liquid light that carves its way through night card, right? This is the nine of diamonds. The nine of diamonds is an accurate depiction, a true to life tale, liquid light that carves its way through night. Now it says carves its way through night because there's a few typos in this deck, and I was trying to just get it done. So there's some things that I could have caught that I didn't. So it says carves its way through night, but it's carves. It's supposed to be carves. And again, like the nine of pentacles came out on the other side of that seven of wands. So it's interesting that it's like literally right here. But that then makes me think of the card that it's a crystal clear night of charted stars, I think, or something like that. And that it had an energy of like being able to look up at the sky, being able to look at the stars in the sky and to see the lines that connect them to form the different constellations. Um, Later, Holly, rake your roof. Oof. I want to find that card now. I think it's a crystal clear night of charted stars. Dude. Up here it is. It's the five of diamonds. Nearly perfect harmony, a crystal clear night of charted stars, triplets in the third trimester. I'm not gonna say that one. But oh, the king of I left the king of cups all the way over here. Nine of pentacles, king of cups, justice. I think there's also, because of how these are laid out, the king of cups is looking over at the ten of wands and justice is looking over at the seven of cups. So I feel like with the king of cups looking at the ten of wands, also with the king of cups being in a space of anticipating the reception, anticipating receiving the things that he would not have been capable of receiving in the past. He looks at these challenges and he looks beyond them, right? Because if he were just looking at that, he doesn't need the telescope thing, the eyepiece. I always want to call it a periscope, but I think the periscope is the thing that comes up off of the submarine and looks around. But he wouldn't need that to see this because it's right in front of him. So he's capable of seeing beyond this. And it feels like it conveys a sense of like understanding and knowing that there may be challenges along the way to getting whatever it is that he is now ready to receive. The energy feels a little demanding, but I don't think it's necessarily demanding. It's just like I'm ready now, and I want it now. Like I know I rejected it in the past. I know that I was in whatever state and space I was in, but I'm ready now. I want it now. Like, can we like get this done? I'm the freaking king over here. When I say I'm thirsty, someone brings me something to drink, and then as the king, you also got to be selective because not everything presented to a king is fit for consumption when it comes to the longevity of said king. There have been many a king, many an emperor, many a queen, many a princess, prince, empress that have been slipped something. Oh, that's an interesting synchronicity. I was watching. I'm not watching Drag Race right now, but I was watching a recap of Drag Race right now. I think it was the pit stop, and somebody fumbled over the word toxic masculinity a few times. So that's what reminds me. It makes me think of toxic masculinity, but not that this is a toxic masculinity. This isn't a toxic masculinity. Um, Maybe it's there are things that can toxify masculinity, not intoxicate, but it could be intoxicated. There are things that can be toxic to masculinity, and it feels like it would be a lot of ego energy that goes back to it was when I did the EYE versus the capital I. One of the energies, it was super self-centered and super self-focused, and it gave no concern or consideration to the environment when it seeks its fulfillment. And when that happens, it causes the environment to decay, which eventually causes a decay of the self. So being too self-serving and too much of self-interest can actually be detrimental to the furthering of one's interests, believe it or not. Um, but this is an energy that's willing to face these to claim what lies beyond it. And then, so they're looking at each other. And then justice is looking at this seven of cups. But both of them are looking in the direction of the person who has to make the choice. So, hence the royal tester, right? To be a royal tester of some good food that ain't poison, not a bad job. That was I'm playing this. I downloaded this new game yesterday. Synchronicities all over the place. I downloaded this game yesterday, and there was a knight who was corrupted by whatever and twisted into not a knight anymore. He served the emperor, and he was like the captain of the knights or something like that. And there was a tale that he intentionally drank something that he knew was poison and asked for seconds to keep the emperor from drinking it. And it's like this is how loyal he was before he was corrupted. Um, so that's why I guess that was subconsciously sitting in the back of my brain or whatever. This justice card, it almost feels like the divine or the universe in a way, though, more than the person. This makes me think of how our choices and decisions are honored. So it's like whatever we choose, there are consequences to that. It could be either good or bad. It doesn't matter. Consequence is neutral. It's for every action, there's a reaction. For every effect, there must have been something that caused it. This is just a cause and effect relationship. This is our interaction with choice. This is how things just sort of play out. And it feels like there is a nervous excitement again for what a shift in choice has the opportunity and potential to bring into our lives, to make manifest, right? Speaking of make manifest, we have the Ace of Pentacles again at the bottom. Chain links, a divine codex, an arrow that pierces the heavens and breaks the clouds. That implying like there's some kind of storm. And the arrow, like it pierces the clouds and the storm dissipates. And then, the sun breaks through. Aha! Piercing the clouds so the sun can break through. LOL. You see that cloud with the bandages? What card is that? Oh, it's right, literally right here, the one I literally just read. An arrow that pierces the heavens and breaks the clouds. This has chariot energy on it, which is interesting. It has chariot, Sagittarius, the crown, the element of fire, the sacral, and another one. Oh, snap. Russ posted to the website. Oh, snap. My brother sent me a message. I ain't talked to him in years. If he's asking me to go to Chicago again, I am not trying to move to Chicago. But maybe I should be. I mean, why not, right? Anything and everything is possible now. Let me stop. Why did I pick up my phone? Oh yeah, to see what this number is. It might be in the water court, the court of water. It is. Oh wow, that's the sage of water, the sage of essences. That's the this this is supposed to be. Oh no, there's no typo on this one. This 35, that's the energy of the King of Cups, the Sage of Essences, the Sage of Water. The King of Cups comes after liquid light that carves its way through night. That's hilarious. But what is the energy of the Sage of Essences? The Sage of Essences is the one who is able to really like pull on different strengths that they have. It feels like it's able to embody different combinations. I don't want to say of personalities, but it's like if you have 101 different strengths, but there are 3 to 5 that would really allow you to excel in a particular situation, the Sage of Essences is able to know and understand all that it has within itself and to bring those things to each situation that it finds itself in to I don't not perform at its best, but it's like to be most suited to that situation. That's the ability of the Sage of Essences. And in that way, it feels like if there are choices and decisions that the self that we don't make, um, then there are things within ourselves that we never discover. And because we don't discover those things within ourselves, we're not able to consciously tap into them when they would be useful in certain situations. It's like maybe there are things that we can unconsciously sort of do whenever we're put on the spot, then it just sort of like naturally comes out of us. But to be able to consciously tap into that and to be able to use it in different measures with different qualities, that's the word that I wanted, not personalities, qualities. Um, to be able to use that and match that with different qualities, even if like the situation is the same, but the people that were in that situation in are different, then there are things that we may not necessarily have to take on ourselves. Now, an understanding of those in the environment around us with us. Oh, that's the 10 of cups. That's that level of like harmonious interplay with each other, where one person doesn't have to do everything or take center stage. I mean, not that, you know, it can if it's whatever is necessary and most beneficial, more beneficial. So that's the Sage of Essences, the Chariot, Fire, which is interesting. The King of Cups coming out with the element of fire. But the Chariot is also here, which is about balancing extremes to the point where it encourages forward movement and momentum. Almost like um, when two tectonic plates come together and then they like push each other up, or one pushes the other one up, or whatever. And I don't know, a mountain sprouts out of the ocean. Who knows? I don't know. Geophysics. Do I have that card? Yeah, that's a forced uprising. I guess I'm gonna go looking through all the Diceology cards. Steph, hey Steph, how you doing? Wait, too windy where? A forced uprising. Let's see where that is. Let's see if this isn't a card that's already on Little Bell. I think a forced uprising was the last one. I think there might be two cards that kind of have that energy, but the forced uprising is what's bringing this to mind. Oh no, that was that one. Okay. If I can find it, if I can find it, if I can find this card. Nearing the bottom of the deck. Let's see. Maybe. Is it gonna be like the it's the two of diamonds. It was like the card next to the last one. A forced uprising, an ancient word that stirs ancient things to life whispered. That was 35. This is 38. So 38 should be the three of zones. Three of earth. Three of pentacles energy again. Um this one coming with the element of air, the root chakra, the throat chakra, the hermit, and Leo. A forced uprising. That's interesting. Because with the Three of Pentacles, the Hermit, and Leo, that feels like I feel like this would be like way beyond this, but maybe not. It feels like reaching the point where it's like an unashamed authenticity but it feels like it reaches a point within the self where it's like it really wants to show the world who it is. I guess that could come with a lot of repression. And then the forced uprising, it would just be like an unrepressed or unsuppressed individual who was used to and accustomed to a lot of repression and suppression. And so, like, if it were to immediately just sort of come out, it may appear to be like a very, very huge change and shift, seemingly overnight. But it would be like, well, that's who that person always was. They just never showed it for reasons, for circumstances. I think that also goes back into the energy of the things that we've always sort of desired to be. That came out a while ago, I feel like. It could also be the space of what we really want, more so than like what we've been conditioned to want or what everybody else wants or maybe it's also related to things that we've never really experienced too. It's like, how do you know if you like salad if you never eat one? You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta eat it. You're watching the Vikings Valhalla on Netflix and you're loving it. Did somebody talk about that show, or did I just see on the internet that it's on Netflix now? Was that Twitter? It could have been. It could have been somebody else. Even though the historical accuracy was a bit off. Oh snap! What? Yeah, I hope you're safe. Stay safe, Steph. Didn't you say something about winds, Eve? And now Steph's got too windy there, and now Steph's got tornado sirens. Okay. But again, with this Ace of Pentacles, it's the Two of Wands into the Ten of Cups. And it feels like the Two of Wands like lead up to this Ten of Cups portal. Like that. But it's like this. So it is um like a oh well those weren't like tornado sirens, but yeah, sirens are a thing. Apparently. All kinds of sirens. Maybe there's also going to be some kind of seductresses or seductor. What's the masculine version of the word seductress? Is there one? Oof, if not, that's pretty telling. But it feels like this two of wands leads like right to this, and if this feels like it feels like a portal, but just in terms of how like drastically different everything has the opportunity to become. A player. Ah, that's funny. Yeah, okay, I see it. I see it. So we're back here. Back to choice, back to um it's like almost like showing the results of your healing in a way, but more than showing the results of your healing in a like ego driven way. It's just that like who we've become, what we're now capable of when it comes to so many different areas and aspects of life. Right down to the choices we make, but also at the same time, I think there is an understanding that not every choice, again, with the King of Cups looking at the Ten of Wands, like not every choice or decision is going to be easy to make. Choice isn't necessarily intended to be easy. And a lot of times, the easiest choice can lead us to a lot of trouble down the line. But we are capable of making difficult choices. Not every choice is going to be difficult either. I think there will be some like no brainers, um, and there will be some that won't. Rico Suave type. I mean, why was I even talking about that? Oh, because the siren. That's why. Beware the mermaid, sailor. Wow, didn't necessarily expect this, but here we are. I wonder if there's anything else. Afe came out. Afe didn't even get a whole like video. Afe was just like, be wary and mindful of those or yourself who are so attached to anger that they won't allow themselves to experience any of the richness, that any of the beauty that life has the capability to offer them. They get what they want ultimately at the end of the day. And now it's like be careful and mindful of the grieving or of grief. Like don't allow it to, not don't allow, but it's just like realize that, it might keep you grieving. Ooh, okay, well. So the card that flipped over, and I got one card, which is lovely. Oh, the Ace of Cups came out. This is what that King of Cups was looking at. Again, with the Four of Cups. And what's interesting is that the ghost is here. But the plus sign on the ghost gives it very like hospital healer. It could be also like churchy. Well, I guess it is more churchy. It looks like a solar cross or something. But it feels like, a healed past or a reconciliation with the past in enough ways to be able to claim this Ace of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the angriest Wheel of Fortune I've ever seen. Well, I guess like it's smiling. It just looks a little. It is aggressively happy. It's like it's finally. That's the snake. The snake from the Seven of Cups and the ghost from the Seven of Cups. The wheel takes the snake and the wolf from the moon, I guess. We have to do this part. We have to resolve and reconcile our past in a way. Um, that we don't allow it to keep ourselves reliving it. The Wheel of Fortune can take care of the rest, apparently. And it is apparently glad to do so. And it's interesting because I've never noticed as prominently as I did today this major sort of like axis right here. Like this one going up and down, and then the one cutting it in the middle. The meridians? No, maybe not meridians. But you can see it in this Wheel of Fortune too. The up and down and the left and right. It was super noticeable today. Oh, look at this. Yeah, with the star behind the Wheel of Fortune. Star being healed. But look at like, I don't know. The star looks a little concerned. It's interesting that the star would be concerned, though. What's interesting about the star being concerned is it feels like it almost holds an energy of like It's almost like, because again, it's like the energy of the compassionate divine, the intelligent universe. Almost like, if I were to present to this person this wonderful thing, would they be able to take it? Or would it be another thing that they regret? Would it become another regret if they don't? Type of energy. Well, maybe that's just how I'm reading it. You kept thinking Toth every time I said Sage of Essences. You just had to say it. It's funny that you said that because for some reason, randomly, Thoth popped into my mind earlier today. And I was like, I've heard Seth pronounced set. So is the TH a t sound instead of a th sound? So would it be tot or thought or toth? And I had that thought. I went over it in my brain for like maybe 2 minutes. And then I think I was in the kitchen when that happened. So maybe I grabbed an Oreo from the cookie jar. Or I was looking in the refrigerator for something to eat. Um, but yeah, I thought about Thoth and how to pronounce it earlier today. So that's interesting. Will a cheese or a feisty pizza? This is that vegan pizza with the spongy cheese that Eve was talking about. It's like, I'll show you spongy cheese. I want to read the Ace of Cups, though. And I'll read the Wheel of Fortune. I'll read both of them. I'll read all the cards. The Wheel of Fortune. What was behind the Wheel of Fortune? The star. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune says, sitting aloof, minding your own business won't stop the world from turning. You might think you know all the answers, but the puzzles and mysteries still exist, and fate can be a cruel master. But fear not, my friend, because happiness is just waiting to be found. We all have little helpers searching and seeking to assist us. Be mindful of the elements and see all the connections to the spiritual world you already have. Let them help you recognize what opportunities and surprises the wheel of fate has in store for you. Look around the bend and give your partner a helping hand. The time is right for answers. Ooh. That is Set and Seth are the same. Yeah. So I was like, is it like Tot? Is there a TOT? I've never seen TOT written. I guess I've seen SETH more than I've ever seen SET. But I was just like, interesting. So what is this? Oh, the connections to the elements. I actually noticed that today too. I don't think I noticed it the first time. I was like, oh, these books are just sitting here. But like, if it'll focus, will you focus? That's the element of air. It's the upper pointing triangle with the line in it. That's the element of water, downward pointing triangle. The element of, wait, is that one fire? Yeah, the element of fire, upper pointing triangle, and the element of earth, downward pointing triangle with a line. And that makes me think of the reading that I just did, the EYE versus the capital I. Fire equals air equals earth equals water. Um, but there was something else. I don't know. Oh, the spiritual connections. Yeah. See all the connections to the spiritual world you already have. Let them help you recognize what opportunities and surprises the will of fate has in store for you. Look around the bend and give your partner a helping hand. Okay, well, I guess that came from the environment, choices in the environment. But again, it sort of feels like that star energy. That's like, is this gonna be something else that they live to regret? I might be want to be careful with this one. It's really good, but I don't know if they're necessarily wanting good right now. They say they want good, but when good comes, then they don't take it. So it's like, what do we really want? And that was the question that came out, right? What do we really want? It's finding out what we really want. The star, you are a shining, shimmering star on earth. Take the source of your truth in hand. Your dreams can never run dry. When you fill your world with such dedication, there's that dedication word again from that same EYE versus capital I, fire equals water equals air equals earth video. Dedication that came out with spiritual guidance, speaking of the connections to the spiritual world that are also assisting us in that Wheel of Fortune. So I think I want to rewatch the 7 degrees or 9 degrees of Saturn Parisian. But I just wish I took a picture of the cards. Maybe I'll watch it. Um, your dreams can never run dry. When you fill your world with such dedication and capture your highest hopes, you can truly light up not only the night, but also the day. Don't be modest. Open up and make a significant addition. See that? Don't be modest. Open up and make a significant addition. That was the energy of the Hermit and Leo that came out on that 2 of diamonds, a forced uprising that I already put back in the deck. Um, Open up and make a significant addition. Shed your inhibitions and recognize your place in the universe. But be cautious not to get out of touch with reality and live with your head in the clouds. Listen carefully, and you will hear the mystical messengers on your shoulder. They are here to guide you with wondrous wisdom. You are a part of a much bigger glittering galaxy. So, again, another reference to connections in the spiritual world that are helping you find that happiness that you've always desired. Ace of Cups. It's the start of a new life. See, the 10 of Cups, portal, new life. Something wonderful has begun, and this cheerful cleansing cup is your vessel. Keep it ever flowing with positivity and joy. Find a balance and harmony that fills your soul. There we go. Okay. Like the deck isn't extremely hard to connect to. It feels hard to connect to, but when I use it, I feel like it's not as difficult as sometimes it's not as difficult as I would think it is. But there's always a bit of hesitancy. Maybe I just got to be like, this is the deck to just like receive with. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like it wouldn't be as weird if they weren't so long. I used to rewatch some of them. I feel like I would accidentally rewatch them though. I would watch for one part and then I would just end up watching the whole thing. But yeah, usually I don't mind rewatching my own videos, but sometimes the length can be a little intimidating. So. Oh, where did these cards come from? They ain't even part of the fold. Get in here. The 7 of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, King of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, 4 of Wands, 7 of Cups. Decided to stay on the table. You're going back. Oh, King of Pentacles did not want to go back. King of Pentacles said, I am here to stay. I just saw the King of Pentacles. I think I watched that Menopon Tarot video. Pisces Part 2. The King of Pentacles came out as like some kind of long-standing prosperity or something like that. You're using the Dolly deck for the next Egyptian Zodiac series, and it's not as hard to connect with as you thought it would be. I think maybe sometimes we just have to like be on the right wavelength for some decks to really sort of like click with imagery or vibes or whatever. Because usually with a Dolly, I'm like, oh, wait, this is so abstract. So the card that came out is the Moon. Guess what's at the bottom of the deck? It's the Nine of Wands with that same moon at the top. Behind the Nine of Wands, though, is, I guess, our favorite card this reading, the Sun, and the Fool behind that Sun. See, but this, especially these three, again, it reminds me of that video. This came out on the capital I. And this was the Nine of Wands that I was like, that's the Nine of Wands that I like. Because it was like with the Eight of Cups, after we ascend to a certain point, with the Nine of Wands, after we reach a certain point, when we get to the top, we sort of like realize that everything is different than we thought it would be. It's like on the capital I side, on the side of the Five of Wands, it was the Ace of Cups, and then the Eight of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Four of Cups. And it was like, if we complete that Eight of Cups journey, we like breach the land of the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles being a more realized Ace of Cups. Because with the Ace of Cups, it's just a feeling. But at the Ace of Pentacles, it becomes an experience. And sometimes having the feeling or the vision and it not being our experience creates a sense of dissatisfaction within the self, distrust of spirit. It could be anything, frustration, irritation. But divine energy feels like it makes us work for stuff. I don't know if it necessarily just gives it too often. Devil energy will give it, and then devil energy will collect and continuously collect. But the divine, like divine energy, it puts us in a place of not being able to create it ourselves. But it's like, devil energy is give a man a fish, divine energy is teach a man to fish. There are some like blues and purples in here. Are some blues especially that I've never noticed before. The baby bird boo. It's so ready. It's like its feathers. It's still got its like baby bird down. Ooh, can't even, if it flaps those wings, maybe this bird could carry the spirit of the bumblebee. This bird could have a bumblebee heart, where it's like aerodynamically it shouldn't be able to fly, but yet there they go. Look at them go. Those tiny wings and big old bodies. How does it work? Magic. The top of the deck is the Wheel of Fortune. I just wanted to see what was at the top of the deck. It's the Wheel of Fortune, which is interesting because, again, the moon came out, the sun is under the Nine of Wands. This is an energy that it's like if the wheel doesn't turn itself, this energy, like the Nine of Wands, will like walk around until, oh, wait, no, it was right the first time. The Nine of Wands energy will walk around the wheel until the sun is up top. And maybe that's a part of the determination that we're sort of asked to have. Determination and dedication to see things through, even when we don't necessarily, when we can't see. It's knowing and understanding that it's like, yes, the wheel does turn, but we also have a part to play in it. Just like the star that was behind the previous wheel in the Mystical Medley's tarot. And it's interesting that we're dealing with like opposite phases of the moon. One is a waxing crescent, the other is a waning crescent. One is before the moon is new, the other is almost immediately after. So very endings are beginnings energy. Endings can be beginnings, or they can just be endings. You know what I mean? So, final Diceology card. Oh, who was that? It's the Queen of Diamonds. An abrupt change of season, the vision catching up to fantasy, the filling of valleys and falling of mountains. Wait, that's a 3. Hold up. Hold up. Oh, that's a 9. Oh, the 3 is the Empress. No, that's Gemini. What is that? No, that's Mercury, I think. I think that's Mercury. No, that's Taurus. Oop. Never mind. So Taurus, the tower. Is that air? No, that is Earth. Right? Yep, Earth. Taurus, the tower, Earth. Gemini, the heart, and the third eye. Uranus is in Taurus right now. Taurus and the tower. That could literally be Uranus and Taurus, even though Uranus is the fool. An abrupt change of season. See, I feel like that goes back. Bottom of the deck, tapping into the seed of all creation, understanding what predates all and things that must remain in the dark with the Sage of Souls. We've already seen the Sage of Essences. That's the King of Fire energy. Sage of Fire, Sage of Souls. Things that must remain in the dark is interesting for this. This has these two together. It has an energy of like being able to, it's like realizing that we have an ability to affect our experience in some way, but not necessarily realizing all of the intricacies of how that happens. It's like the concept of a lucky whatever, right? These are my lucky underwear. Whenever I wear them, I win the lottery. I don't understand why these are lucky or how that works, but I've noticed a correlation between me wearing these and good things happening. But instead of it could be wearing something, it could be doing something. It could be a space that you hold within yourself. It could be something that you do in the morning as part of your morning routine that helps you to have a better day. And maybe we understand in part. Well, I think it would be it's almost like it's less the thing itself and more of the position or the state. It's like the state that it puts us in, with it being the Sage of the Soul, right? It's like it's something that calms the soul or whatever, more so than it is the actual thing, right? It's almost if it's like, fast food isn't what makes us unhealthy. It's the state that we're in when we're eating the fast food that's bad for our health, right? Or it's like a tub of ice cream, right? If you're eating that tub of ice, it's like the energy of self medication, right? If we're self medicating, then it's like, yeah, there are going to be effects because we're medicating. But if it were done just as in the sense of like enjoyment, then it's like, different effects. I don't know. It must remain in the dark. But it is tapping into the seed of our creation, understanding that which predates all. Actually, if I take that understanding that which predates all, with the Wheel of Fortune that had all four elements, with that abrupt change of season, it is taking me back to the EYE versus capital I video. And it's like in understanding the element as itself, but also in understanding the element as a component of, as a part of, or as in relation to all of the other elements. There's something about when all of those, when those four realms of understanding come together and form the energy of energy almost. It's like understanding the thing before it takes a form. And that was the spirit or the life that understanding the four elements gave us the access to in that video. And with the Sage of Souls and the Sage of Essences, it's not surprising that an energy that literally has the ability to shape our lives would come out. But again, at the same time, with so many things being related to choice and mindsets and the things that we carry with us, 10 of Wands also being baggage, it's not too surprising that if we handle, face, and address those, that we would have more control in our lives. And not control in the sense that we can necessarily dictate and determine how things play out, but control in the way that we can more presently make our choices and decisions when it comes time to make a choice and decision, rather than falling into old habits, rather than falling into old patterns, rather than falling into the belief that things are what they always are and they will never change. So I will continue to make this choice because every time I make another choice, it plays out in this way, right? But anyway, that's interesting that that came out again. And maybe it must remain in the dark because it's a more void energy. And that would also make sense because the dark, the space of the dark is almost the space of that which has yet no form. After it's given a form, it becomes light. When the sun shines on it, we see it. When it doesn't, we can't. It's formless. So, Reem isn't here right now, but I'm still waiting on that dark matter consciousness video. I wonder if that, I almost wonder if dark matter consciousness is related to the Eye Witch in some way. I feel like she might have said about as much at one point before. Maybe. I don't know. So, I don't know. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Take it as it resonates, girl. However you take it, it's on you. Don't take it. That's fine. I don't know what's happening. Well, I guess I could guess. I could guess at what's happening. Um, and I think in a lot of ways, it's exactly what a lot of people asked for, ask for, and it's what a lot of people have said what this time is. But I think a lot of times when we declare something or when we see something, we don't necessarily think of the person that we as individuals are or the people that we as a collective are to be in the space where that is our reality. Right? It's like if you're a kid and you ask for a pet, for when you ask for a dog and your guardian or guardians are like, okay, we're gonna get you this animal, but you have to take care of it. And you're like, okay. But when you're like, okay, you don't necessarily know that you gotta feed it and you gotta let it out and you gotta, take care of it. There are gonna be like vet bills that you might have to pay, and it's you I guess depending on the situation, you can't necessarily be like, I don't feel like feeding my pet today because I want to do this, because your pet still got to eat. And if you want to go on vacation, now you got to find someone to take care of your pet. It's like it comes with all of these things, all of these extra responsibilities attached to it that we don't necessarily think of when we just want the dog or the pony or the whatever. You know what I mean? So maybe we also find ourselves in a time of responsibility because of the choice or whatever. So I do not have that book, Eve. Dark Light Consciousness. I didn't even know it was a book until you said it, although I might have heard Reem talk about it before and just forgot about it. But no, I don't. And I don't know if I'm interested in having it because it sounds like it would be a difficult read. And although I would be semi intrigued, I think I would rather. I don't know. Oh, thanks, Eve. I love your readings too. I still gotta watch the one that you just put out. So I guess that's it. Yeah, that feels like it. That feels good. And it's less than 2 hours, which is an accomplishment in its own right. So I hope you all have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I guess that's it. Are there any more? Are there no more hopes today? I guess not. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that you have a good whatever whenever you see this. Thank you, Eve and Ariel and Steph and Holly for being here. This was something, as they all are. Yeah. Yeah. No problem. I'll catch you next time I catch ya. Bye.